Well, hello, folks, and a happy new year. Lovely to see so many folk joining us already today. That's fantastic. This is the SaxaVord Sessions, all the way from my house today, because the weather's a wee bit unpredictable, so we thought we'd just play safe. But never mind, here's an hour of music and videos coming up for you. I hope you've all had a great new year. One wee thing, anybody watching the show on Facebook, if you're watching on my own channel, just Peter Wood, I can't see your comments. It's something that Facebook's done. Okay, so if you want to see your comments coming up, you'll have to go to SaxaVord Sessions page or Peter Wood music page, and that way it'll work. Otherwise, because I noticed somebody saying afternoon Nell, Hazel said to Nell, but Nell's not put a comment on yet, so I take it Nell's watching it on Peter Wood rather than Peter Wood Music or SaxaVord Sessions. So if you watch it there, you'll be able to put your comments in, or if you're on YouTube, that's no problems. It's just Facebook's changed the rule that personal pages, you can't have comments here on this StreamYard. So here we go. That was a good new year. I hope you're all well and looking forward to 2025. Hi Murray, how are you doing? I was hoping to have a video of Murray on today, but I couldn't get it to download, but I'll have it for next week, Murray, that is for sure. So here we go with a wee set of jigs to get us going today, and it's Lamb Skin It. My goodness. Well, there we go, a wee set of jigs to get us in to the SaxaVord Sessions up here in Unst. Now then. Oh, thank you very much, Murray. That's super. And thank you to all yous that are sharing. Hello, Lilius. Hello, Hazel. Hello, Effie. And everybody else that's joining us. Now, notice Nell's on now on this page. Just a quick reminder, folks, Facebook's changed the rules a wee bit. If you're watching this, you have to watch it on a Facebook page, which would be SaxaVord Sessions or Peterwood Music, if you want to post comments. Otherwise, you can post comments, but I don't see them. But if you go on to Peter Wood, just my own personal page, I can't see the comments. So it's great to know that you're out there. Yeah, we've still got snow up here, folks. Hello, Edna. And it looks like a bit unpredictable, we shall say. As you can see out the window, it's a bit grey and things still. So I thought, for the ease of safetyness for us all today, I would just do the show from home. So that's fine. And Karen's standing smirking at me about something. Oh, the Dashhound's my audience today. It's up the back photobombing, and Luna's down the bottom photobombing too. So I hope you're all having a great year. Here is a wee video for you. As I promised, I was going to have some other acts on today as well. Now, the first track we're going to hear today is by... What did I find it? Where's it gone? Right. Yep. Mr. Paul Anderson for Tarland in Aberdeenshire, one of the finest fiddlers in the northeast. And Paul today's giving us a wee march just being real, so enjoy. There you go. The master himself, Mr. Paul Anderson from Tarland, and finishing off there with the fairy dance. I thought it was the fairies the other night, actually, but never mind. That's maybe I was just dreaming. That's it. But anyway, nice to see Marge Rankin joining us as well from America, which is absolutely fantastic. So, here for you this time is a wee set of jigs, and the first one, well, they're all Andrew Rankin tunes since Marge is joining us. The first one is it's went out of my head straight away, but I'll come back. Followed by Edmund Mackenzie Plockton, and the last one's Balcomie House. And that's terrible, I can't mind the name of the first one, but it'll come back to me as we go. So here we are. Excuse the dogs. There we go, a wee set of jigs. And I still can't mind the name of the very first one, but it will come back to me. There we go. And excuse the dogs barking, I think there's possibly a cat outside, or a flicker of snow, or anything else in the world that the dogs will bark at. Possibly something as important as a blade of grass. So there we go. Nice to see everybody joining us. From next week, we're going to start a new wee thing as well. I'm going to start doing a little quiz through the show, and there'll be 3 questions, and when we get to the end, the first person to post the 3 right answers is going to get a SaxaVord Spaceport t-shirt. That's what we've got, from Viking Age to Space Age, or something, from Viking ship to spaceship, something like that. So we'll do that for next week as well, so another wee new thing starting. One of the other things we're going to try and do midweek is try and mix the show up a wee bit, and maybe have some 10-15 minute things on, possibly some storytelling, possibly some cooking, whatever. What would you like to see for Shetland? We'll try and do it. We've got hopefully a lady coming on to show you her Shetland ponies, and she breeds them and all that kind of stuff. So that might be quite interesting for a midweeky thing, just for a wee bit different. Hello Bonnie, how are you doing? That's nice to see Bonnie in Wisconsin. So here is a couple of waltzes for you this time. This is the first one I wrote for my wee lass Grace, and it's called Grace Elizabeth Wood, and the second one I wrote for my wife Karen, and it's just called Waltz for Karen. And it's the tune we went down the aisle to when we got married all these years ago. So, better get swatting now, yeah? You don't know what the questions are going to be like yet. Right, here we go. Here's these 2 wee waltzes for you. Have a wee St. Bernard's, or a slow waltz. It's more like a slow waltz, actually. Now, there we are. A couple of tunes, Grace Elizabeth Wood and Waltz for Karen. The tune has just come back to me, the Andrew Rankin tune, the Alexandra Reel. How did I not remember that when it's a jig? So, there we go. So hope you're all fine out there. Keep sharing. Loads of people watching us today. That's fantastic. Really nice to see. Here's another wee video from you. This is a video from Leonard Brown and Maggie Adamson. Of course, Maggie Adamson is from Shetland as well, famous fiddler. I taught her the accordion when she was at school, and she's very, very good on the accordion. I think she passed grade 5 on piano, fiddle and accordion all on the same day or something like that. And she's also won a world championship at sailing recently as well, with the most marvellous Mr. Leonard Brown. Fantastic player. They're going to be doing a tour, which I'll give you the dates of when I get back just now. And in fact, I'll post their poster on the site as well. And if they're anywhere near you, I highly recommend going and seeing them. Here's Leonard and Maggie with a wee set of tunes, starting with this reel, Jack Daniels for the Black Mountain Reel. Well, there we go. The wonderful Leonard Brown and Maggie Adamson. Fantastic set of tunes there. They are going on tour from the 20th of March to the 6th of April. They are pure class now, you're absolutely right. And if you get a chance to go and see these guys, please go and see them, because wonderful, wonderful musicians and worth every penny to go and see them. So go and see Maggie and Leonard, that would be great. Oh, hold on, my computer's telling me something about selling holidays in America or something. There we go. Sorry about the interruption earlier on. It was next door's cat. Next door's cat comes and actually sits at the window because it knows that the dogs can't get out, and they refuse to believe that that can happen. So here's a wee set of marches, all well-known ones, starting with the Nut Brown Maiden, The Lights of Loch-and-Dal, Killiecrankie, and Kirkwall Bay for all our friends in Orkney. Here we go. There we go. Helen Wink is saying that was her late husband's favourite tune. That's fantastic. Music's wonderful for bringing back memories, there's no doubt about it. So now, remember, just a quick one, this is SaxaVord Sessions all the way from Unston, Shetland. I'm just at home today because the weather was looking a wee bit unpredictable. As it is, it's not really come to very much. But whoever knows up here, you just don't know. So, I am sitting here, me and the dogs. Karen's wonderfully taking down the Christmas decorations, which is great. I helped with the tree this morning, don't worry. So, there we go. This is SaxaVord Sessions. Remember, if you're watching on Facebook, I've mentioned this a couple of times today, folks, if you want me to see your comments when I'm playing, you have to let me know. Post them on SaxaVord Sessions Facebook page or Peterwood Music page. Anything that goes just on my own personal account, Facebook, I've changed it a bit and I can't see that now. So anything else. But lovely to see so many folk joining us, and it's great. Hit that share button, the more the merrier. Now, as I said, SaxaVord Spaceport, all the people in fact we're playing today are all friends of Davey and I's, and over the years we've met lots and lots of people. This next one's a song from Jim Sailstrom. Jim was a personal friend of Davies and Frank Strang, the CEO of the Spaceport. Jim unfortunately passed away recently. But he was a phenomenal country singer and composer, and played with many bands over the years, including, I think it was 11 years with Dolly Parton's band. But here's a wee song that Jim wrote called Rocky Mountain High, and I've stuck a couple of videos of snow up here this weekend so far, but it wasn't that bad. But we had some marvellous northern lights, so I've stuck some pictures of that on it for you to. Here's Jim Sailstrom with Rocky Mountain High.
He was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found the key for every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, on the road and hanging by a song. But the string's already broken and he doesn't really care. It keeps changing fast and it don't last for long. And the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Shadows from the starlight, softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Rocky Mountain High. He climbed Cathedral Mountains, he saw silver clouds below. He saw everything as far as you can see. And they say that he got crazy once and he tried to touch the sun. He lost a friend but kept the memory. Now he walks in quiet solitude, the forests and the streams, seeking grace in every step he takes. His sights are turned inside himself to try and understand the serenity of a clear blue mountain lake. And the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. You can talk to God and listen to the casual reply. Rocky Mountain High, Rocky Mountain High. Now his life is filled with wonder, but his heart still knows some fear of a simple thing he cannot comprehend. Why they try to tear the mountains down to bring in a couple more people, more scars upon the land. But the Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. I know he'd be a poor man if he never saw an eagle fly. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Friends around the campfire and everybody's high. Rocky Mountain High in Colorado, Rocky Mountain High in Colorado, Rocky Mountain High in Colorado, Rocky Mountain High.
How about that? What a voice. What a voice. And that was live in Granton on Spey in the high school there. Frank had organised a concert. Emily, Frank's daughter, went to the school and Davey was there and Davey recorded that live. But to sing vocals like that live, fantastic. Peter Coote says, John Denver, never heard of this boy, brilliant. I actually think Peter, he worked with John Denver as well. I think that was when they actually worked with. So anyway, there we go. Here's a couple of tunes for you. John McMillan at Barra and John Carmichael's Farewell to Scotland. But he did come back. But nobody wrote a welcome back. John, what happened there? Well, there we go. Father John McMillan of Barra and John Carmichael's Farewell to Scotland by Andrew Rankin as well. Playing a few Andrew's tunes today. Right, now, over the years, as you can imagine, Marge said something there, I better go back and see what it was. The composer of John Carmichael's Farewell was happy to see his old friend return to Scotland, and so were a lot of us, Marge, so were a lot of us. What a character John Carmichael is to this day. Right. What's this? Used to see your comments on Gary show. Oh, that must be somebody talking to somebody else. Right, now, over the years, Davey and I have met many, many musicians, and one mutual friend it turned out we had is a chap called Raymond Chuk Chuk. I don't know if anybody can remember Raymond. He used to live here and play an awful lot in the north of Scotland. Great accordion player. I never realised he was such a good singer as well, but he does amazing vocal work now as well. Raymond has lived for a number of years now in Spain, and he goes under the stage name of Raymond Ray now. So if you're ever in Spain and you come across a poster with Raymond Ray on it, go and see him. Here is a wee track. This brought back some memories for me as well, because this is actually 4 years now ago. This was in lockdown when I had Tunes in the House going with Martin McLeod. We had it going big style, and people from all over the world would join together and put wee videos together. So on this one, it is Raymond playing lead. Raymond Chuk Chuk. Raymond's in Spain, and I'm in Shetland. I think Jim Layton was on piano. Jim's down, I think it was Perthshire Way, and Jason Dove on piano. Jason, another old friend of mine in Denmark. And quite apt for the weather outside, Raymond chose to play the Oslo Waltz. So here it is for you. There you go, folks. Mr. Raymond Chuk Chuk playing lead there. I've got a few videos for Raymond and one of him singing actually, so we'll try and get that on maybe next week or something. He's a really good player. Raymond Ray, if you're ever in, oh my goodness, he told me where he lived. Hold on. He says he stays based in Kissa da Rogelas, Alcanty. As you can tell, my Spanish is as good as my French and my English sometimes. Anyway, yeah, Super Maureen, since that brings back happy memories of Tartan Tunes. There's lots of them. We'll try and play some Tartan Tunes videos as well. There was up to 30, 40 people in some of the videos. It was quite amazing. Just the times we... Oh, yes, you're absolutely right, Caroline. Raymond played a lot of sequence dancing. He brought out lots of albums with sequence dancing. He told me about that once, how that happened. He was playing in a hotel and a producer walked up to him and said, I wonder if you could do an album, and it progressed from there. So yeah, he did. He's got quite a number out. And Nell was asking, do I ever hear from Jason Dove in Denmark? Yes, I do. I'm trying to arrange to get him over to Shetland sometime to play with the band for a couple of gigs, which would be really good. We were hoping to do up Hellier this year, but it's not quite worked out for this year, but there's plenty of time. Anyway, talking of that, up Hellier, that's what we play now. We're into up Hellier season. I think the first Fire Festival's probably next weekend. So here's the up Hellier song. That's the Viking song, and they sing round and the galley song, the one they sing round the boat. So here's the up Hellier songs. There we go. What's Will saying in Chattanooga? I can't even say that right. Up Hellier. Oh, we won here. Oh, you're having one yourself. Excellent. I met Will, and he's quite fascinated by Up Hellier, I would say. He enjoys it. So, there we go. That was the Up Hellier song. So, the Up Hellier song and the Galley song. It won't be long till Lerwick one as well. That's at the end of the month, last Tuesday of the month. I think we're playing 6 nights that week or something like that. And the Tuesday night one is the big gig that we do for Up Hellier night. We play in the hall in Sound School, and that starts about 9 at night and finishes about 9 in the morning. So it's quite a long night, but lots of squads to watch and things as well, about 50 different squads. So all very interesting. We'll maybe do an Up Hellier show someday as well. That would be good fun. Anyway, here we've spoke many times about Davy Sinton. Davy being wonderful sound man he is, and doing the sound. Well, he was the sound man for the Corries for years, and still is, in fact, the sound man for the Corries. And he very kindly, one of the organisers of the Corries music, said we could post stuff for the Corries on the site for you. And I think it was last week or the week before, we were talking about a chap called Bill Hill. Bill wrote quite a lot of the funny songs, but this to me was the ultimate funny song by the Corries. And if you've not heard it before, you'll laugh. If you have heard it before, you'll still laugh. It's the Portree Kid.
This for Margaret. A man came riding out the west one wild and stormy day. He was tall, quiet and hungry, his eyes were smoky grey. He was lean across the hurdies, but his shooters, they were big. The terror o' the Hieland glens, that was a poetry kid. He drum ho, he drum hey, that jukta, that comfy sky. His sidekick was an older man, and oh, but he was mean. He was called the midnight ploughboy, he come frae Aberdeen. He'd 27 notches on his cromach, so they say, and he killed 1,000,000 Indians way up in Stornoway. Well, poetry booted in the door, he sauntered to the bar. He bought a shot of crabbies, he shouted Slanjava. While midnight was being chatted up by a barroom girl called Pam, who said, well, howdy, stranger, who'd buys a baby sham? Now over in the corner sat 3 men frae Ochtertool. They were playing games for money in a snakes and ladder school. The 4th man was a southerner who'd come up from McMurray. He'd been a river gambler on the Ballachulish ferry. He drum ho, he drum hey, that jukta, that country sky. Does anyone here know this song? Poetry walked to the table and he shouted, shake me in. He shuggled on the egg cup, he gave the dice a spin. He threw 7 6s in a row and the game was nearly done. But then he landed on a snake and finished on square one. The game was nearly over and poetry was doing fine. He landed on a ladder, he was up to 49. He only had but 1 to go and the other man was beat. But the gambler coped the board up and shouted, you're a cheat. Men dive behind the rubber plants to try and save their skins. The accordionist stopped playing, his sidekick dropped the spoons. He says, I think it's funny, you've been up that ladder twice, and your eye was done at the table when I go to throw my dice. He drum ho, he drum hey, the chukta that come frae sky. You okay now? Fine. The gambler drew his ski and do as fast as lightning speed. Poetry grabbed a screw top, he cracked him o'er the head. Then he gave him laldy wi' a salmon off the wall and finished off the business wi' his lucky grousefoot's claw. Poetry walked up to the bar, he says, I'll hae a half. And you like the way I stuck it on that wee McMurray naff? But the southerner crept up behind, his features racked with pain, and he gubbed him wi' an ashtray, made it a curling stain. Well, the fight went raging on all night till opening time next day, wi' a break for soup and stovies off a coronation tray. It was getting kind obvious that neither man would win when came the shout that stopped it all. There's a bus trip coming in. He drum ho, he drum hey, They sing this song in Galashiels and up by Peterhead, way down o'er the border, across the Rio Tweed. About what became of Portree, Midnight and the Gambling Man. They opened up a gift shop, selling fresh air in a can. He'd run home, he'd run home, at Cork, Frisca, 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 Frisca.
Absolutely brilliant. The Corries, it just makes me laugh every time. I love the bit where there's a bus trip coming in. Never mind. There we go. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been a quick hour today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been nice having songs on for Jim Sailstrom for the Corries and tunes for Raymond Chook Chook and Leonard Brown and Maggie Adamson. And as you can see, the Dachshund Nova has decided to actually pose for you. I think that's called photo bombing. But there we go. Here's a wee set of reels for you to finish off today. Starting off with, I can't mind what it's called, but it's a wee set of Irish type reels. So enjoy, and I don't know what this Dachshund's doing. I don't think it knows what it's doing. So we'll see you next week. Watch out for the SaxaVord Sessions every week, 1:30 Sunday, and hope you lovely dogs, says K.I. Wait till you hear them. There we go. So great stuff. I hope you have a great week, and here's a wee set of tunes just to finish off with. Take care. There we go, folks. Have a great week. Stay safe. Hope you don't get snowed on just too much. And we shall see you next week, hopefully. Take care. See you then. Bye.